Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
All right, welcome to the show, Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. My name is Joseph Atto saying good morning. As always, there's a lot to talk about this morning, from matches played yesterday to all the actions taking place on the local scene. And the big one tonight, Arsenal versus Chelsea. That's one of the major talking points on all of the biggest dailies when it comes to sports. Welcome once again.
And I am Nengi Enesta Demola. Good morning and thanks for joining us this morning on Sports Spring, Western Spring Television. Of course, we highly anticipate the Super 6 competition, both in the Nigerian Women Football League as well as the Nigerian Premier Football League. And we also understand that Asaba is set to host that of the Nigerian Women Football League. And also we'll talk about that of the NPFL when it is slated to actually hold, talking about the Super 6 competition. And it's looking not so good for Leeds United and Javi Gracia, because at this point in time we hear that they are set to let him off the hook and maybe employ the services of what's his name now, Sam Allardyce. Now all of this and more would form the point of our talking this morning. Thanks for joining us once more. All
right, to start from the locals, and let's travel to Asaba and give you all the stories making the rounds from that angle, and that's about the NWFL. We know that the Super 6 will be played in Asaba.
Exactly.
And that's what the IMC is saying at the moment.
And ahead of this year's Nigerian Women Football League Super 6, the organizers have announced the date and venue for the event. On Monday afternoon, that was yesterday afternoon, the league organizer announced that from May 5th to 12th, 2023 will be the date, and Asaba Delta State will be the venue for the competition. And the participating 6 clubs are Delta Queens, Rivers Angels, Confluence Queens, Robo Queens, Edo Queens, and the defending champions, of course, Bayelsa Queens. And the Asaba 2023 NWFL Premiership Super 6 champions will represent the country at the 2023 Wafubi Women's Champions League qualifiers in August in Lagos. And Bayelsa Queens, let's also remind you, won the last edition after getting 15 points from Nasarawa Amazons, Rivers Angels, Delta Queens, Edo Queens, and Nigeria Tels. Joseph, I tell you for sure, it's set to be a very big one, come from May 5th to 12th of May 2023. We're talking about the NWFL Super 6. We have the big guns in this one. We have the likes of Delta Queens, Rivers Angels, Confluence Queens, Robo Queens, Edo Queens, and of course the defending champions Bayelsa Queens. I mean, we never get to see new names when it comes to the NWFL Super 6, Joseph.
That's why the best of the best have come into this competition, having done wonderfully well for their different groups, where they were placed, and the recruitment process in many of these clubs, massive. They go down deep to the roots to get some of these girls, and year in, year out, they've continually produced some of the girls that have represented us, not just at 8th grade competitions, but represented the Super Falcons. A lot of them grew through the ranks and are making it to the Super Falcons. So it's no news that these teams know what they're doing and how serious they are when it comes to our business. So the Super 6, yes, will be very, very hot, and it will be taking place in Asaba. We can't wait. But then we have favorites already. Likes of Edo Queens have been tipped to win this one. But then don't take it away from other girls. They've put in so much work this season to be able to get the needed results when it kickstarts in Asaba.
And I think it's a very big one come May 5th, talking about the Super 6 this time around. Let's not forget that we've had the likes of Rivers Angels, also represent us for the CAF Women's Champions League, of which they did not do well. We also have Bayelsa Queens, who actually represented us, and I think for their very first debut representing us as a continent, definitely they came out third in that one. And we do hope to see that a different hand represents us this time around, just like Joseph has rightly stated. The likes of Edo Queens are definitely tipped to get this one, but we'll see how things pans out to be, most especially as we now have a confirmed date and venue for the Super 6. Now let's also talk about the Super 6 competition for the Nigerian Premier Football League, Joseph.
Yeah, this is the Inter-Management Committee, the IMC, has reiterated that despite running against time, the last matches of the 2023, the Abridged League and the Super 6 will hold in May. This was made known by the Chief Operating Officer of IMC, Davison Owumi, during a chat with reporters on Monday. He acknowledged the fact that the 3 outstanding matches Rivers United have to play will affect the proposed schedule, but optimistic that the league can still be concluded in May. He said, and I quote, that it's a joy for Nigeria teams to progress in the CAF club competitions. We were very happy that Rivers United went this far to the quarterfinal, which led to having 3 outstanding matches. It told reporters. Week 16 of the Nigerian Premier Football League were played across centres last weekend, with just 2 matches remaining for most of the clubs, except Rivers United will have 3 outstanding games. Meanwhile, the Federation Cup, where Rivers United and other NPFL participated, will also hold this May.
Of course, just like I said earlier on, we're highly anticipating the Super 6 competition for the Nigerian Premier Football League. We cannot wait to, of course, see the big names, the likes of Bendel Insurance, Lobby Stars, Aqua United, the likes of Eimba FC, of course, holding pole positions to get into the Super 6, both from Group A and Group B. And, of course, we have those teams who will be relegated at the end of the Abridged League for the 2022-2023 NPFL season. We'll see how things pans out to be. Follow that one closely and make sure that we keep tabs on it and give you updates. Now let's move further and talk about the Women's Federation Cup. A whole lot is happening right here in Nigeria, aside the Nigerian Women's Football League, aside the ongoing NPFL. Of course, we also have the Federation Cup going on. Now the NFF on Sunday, in a letter sent to all the participating teams, revealed that the round of 16 of the Women's Cup will now hold on Wednesday, 10th May, across different venues as opposed to the earlier announced date. Now, Dana's Ladies has been involved in an accident which led to the team informing the NFF of their team to continue with participation in the tournament. And the defending champions, Bayelsa Queens, without kicking a ball, now move on to the next round and would be joined by 7 other winners of the round of 16 fixtures. For the full fixtures for the Women's Federation Cup round of 16 tie, of course, Bayelsa United, they are true because their opponents were involved in one casualty or the other. We also have Fortress FC of Edo, who would go against Honey Badgers. We have Nasra Amazons, who will go against Niger Rattles. We also have Heartland Queens from Imo, who would go against Lakeside Queens from Ogun. Edo Queens definitely going against Maroon Madu. FC Robo from Lagos will go against Royal Queens of Delta. Rivers Angels will also go against Oshun Babes. And lastly, Moje Queens from Kwara will go against Delta Queens. All the best to Oshun Babes. Let's see what they can be able to pull out when it comes to performance and when it comes to display on the pitch this time around in the Federation Cup.
And away from that, the Nigerian Football Federation has released the venues and time for all the round of 32 of the men's 2023 Federations Cup. The dates and venues contained in the letter sent to all the participating teams showed that it has now been postponed by a week to accommodate outstanding fixture between Rivers United and Eimba International. Now, due to the prior engagement in the CAF Confederations Cup, Rivers United had a round of 64 tie against Eimba rescheduled. Now, fixtures in this round of the Federation Cup have now been scheduled to hold on Wednesday, the 10th of May, with winners of each tie progressing to the round of 16. Meanwhile, Rivers United round of 64 tie with Eimba will hold at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on Wednesday, the 3rd of May. And looking at the fixtures, Heartland will take on SCNIE from Cross River. There's EFCC versus Aqua United from Akwa Ibom. We have Aduya from Abia and Bendel Insurance of Edo State. There is a Standard FC versus Sunshine Stars. Warrior Wolves versus Shooting Stars. There's Mighty Jets versus Gombe United. Oshu United versus Insurance Feeders. There's also a Braja of Imo State and Duma United of Gombe. And Sinosho FC of Ebonyi versus Lobby Stars of of Benue State.
And of course,
those are the fixtures.
Exactly. And of course, Rivers United coming out into this fixture as a wounded lion, both in the CAF, both in the NPFL and also in the Federation Cup. So we wish them all the best, as well as other teams participating in that one. Now we'll move over and talk about the under-17 AFCON. We do know that the Flying Eagles, the Golden Eaglets rather, started on a very right foot by getting a win against Zambia, 1-0. And Said Chiba has resulted to using mind games ahead of Group B, top of the table clash between Morocco and Nigeria on Wednesday in Constantine. Now, both teams have recorded 3 points each after winning their opening group matches against Zambia and South Africa. But the Atlas Club tops the group on a +2 goals difference and one better than the Eaglets, rather, who put 1 goal past the junior Chipolo Polos. And now Chiba stated as he challenged his club to remain focused and not to let their 2-0 victory over South Africa get into their heads. In his words, and I quote, "We achieved a good victory against a very difficult opponent and one of the teams with the most individually talented players in the competition. But we need to remain focused and know that the tournament has just started," the former Moroccan international said. On how big the win is, the tactician said it was good for his players' mentality. Of course, it was good for their mentality. And I think our win was also good for our mentality. I mean, going into this game against Morocco.
Well, it's a big one. I mean, Morocco winning their first game. Nigeria also winning theirs. So it's about who stays top of the table or who maintains that position to the final game. That's the third game. Nigeria wins that game. Trust me, they're through to the next round. They get a point. They have 1 foot in the next round. Because South Africa and the other team right now looks like they're whipping boys in that group. So it's between Morocco and Nigeria. Also, it's going to be a very tough one. And, well, a cracker as expected.
Exactly.
But then it depends on what to expect. As I said yesterday, that some of the bookmakers are saying that Nigeria, Morocco, one of these teams will go as far as the final. And if possible, win the competition. So it says a lot about what to expect in that game. And just as you said, I mean, it's playing mind games. That is what they're doing, and they're very good at that. So it depends on what the coach will say do at this point. That's Unduka Agbadi. What are we telling the boys out? They need to focus and understand that it's not over. You take every game as a final. I'm sure that will be some of the messages we'll be passing to the players, because you lose against Morocco, you're only making a statement that you're not ready.
And you talk about Morocco, I mean, they've been able to advance when it comes to football, both in their senior teams as well as age grade competition. And just to add to what Joseph has rightly stated, Morocco has never been to the final of the tournament in their 3 previous qualifications, and the best they did was a 4th place finish in 2013. So I tell you for sure that they will come out this time around. I mean, with all of the tactics and skills they need to put on that pitch. So the Golden Eaglets rather should be ready to up their skills and up their game in this particular match tomorrow.
Away from that, violence broke out at the Stade Olympique Madi Agvebi in Vitz, Tunisia, during the quarterfinal second leg game between Esperance Tunis and JS Kabylie of Algeria. The game was suspended for approximately 40 minutes before the second half commenced after a clash ensued between Esperance fans and security agents as the fans lit up the entrance with fireworks, which needed the intervention of firefighters on the scene. The game was sent down on Saturday, the 29th of April, saw Esperance for the semis with a 2-1 aggregate scoreline.
And according to a particular a court spokesman, he told a particular radio station an indigenous media outlet in Tunisia of about 66 arrests, 12 of whom were minors, with local reports also stating the stadium was looted with some equipment, including a chainsaw, also stolen. I think this is quite a huge violence, because
it's known with the North Africans. They have a very bad record when it comes to violence, when it comes to pitch invasion in African football. As a matter of fact, CAF at a point locked down the Al Ahly, I think, yes, that's the club, the stadium, CAF, they shut down that stadium for months because of what happened, which led to the deaths of 2 persons. And this is Tunisia. As I said, the North African side, they are used to this when it comes to violence, so I'm not surprised. What you see sometimes in Nigeria, like what you saw in Abuja, is child's play to what these guys are capable of. And it's quite unfortunate, and it shows how passionate they are, but in the wrong manner. The same thing used to happen in Germany most especially at the Signal Iduna Park, and that's why they call them the Dortmund Bees, because you look at the fans, and most of those stadiums, you have chains. There's a chain on net, surrounding where the fans are seated. Yeah. And, I really don't understand. I really hope they understand, as we say all the time, that
it's a game
football is a game to enjoy. But unfortunately, when it comes to the North African side, they're known for that. They are known for violence when it comes to match days. But when it also comes to developing sports, they're also known to be good. Well,
at this point in time, we do expect that CAF will come out to issue a statement concerning this massive destruction that took place in this match. And we've also followed that one closely. We'll keep tabs on it and keep you updated.
All right, so we need to go on the break here and give you highlights from some of the matches played yesterday. Another good time for the Arsenal ladies as they're out of the UEFA Champions League. Wolfsburg will be playing Barcelona in the finals of the UEFA Champions League. We'll also be looking at what to expect tonight. It is Arsenal versus Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. The match will kickstart.